this is David Stark from WatchOrPass.com, your website for movie reviews, interviews, and recommendations. Today, I'm joined by Suzanne Voss, who stars in Dementia Part II. It releases in theaters on May 21st, 2021, and physically, digitally, and on demand on June 1st, 2021. We're going to talk to Suzanne in just a second, but first, let's check out the trailer. The first thing you'll probably notice is the trailer's in black and white, so I'm going to try a little bit of my own movie magic to change this interview to match the trailer.
Hi, Wendell. This is Stacy and Dispatch at Handyman Incorporated. Got a job for you. The resident is named Mrs. Goldblum.
I'm Wendell Miska from Handyman.
Sure.
Oh, you have a lovely home, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I've been here so long I don't even notice anymore.
I guess we better get to work, huh?
Miss Goldblum, it is me, Wendell.
How do you know my name?
Miss, are you the owner for this house?
No, that would be my mom, Suzanne.
Hi, Suzanne.
Hi, I'm so sorry. I was pressing lots of buttons, but they weren't the right ones.
No worries at all. You're just in character. It's you're perfectly set. Well, I'm doing well. Thanks so much for joining me. This is Suzanne Voss, star of Dementia Part II, which is a campy black and white sequel to, I guess, kind of sequel to Dementia. You were in Dementia Part I, so this is just a natural extension to your character in Dementia Part I, correct?
No. Not at all. I had a small role in Dementia, and it was a nurse in the hospital. And I was very together. And this one, I think you would agree, I'm not that together.
Yeah, I think that's right. But, I think you're excused. I think all of us are a little, not together after the year we've had. So
True.
But I liked, so I haven't seen Dementia Part I. I saw the trailer and tried to watch it before, but I couldn't find it easily. So I don't know the story of Dementia Part I, but I liked this one's kind of campy style and kind of had a humor to it that I didn't get from the first film's trailer. So how did you get involved in this? It sounds like a crazy process, just the whole way that the film came to life. And how did you get thrown into this crazy 1 month excursion?
I was fortunate. I've worked with Mike Testin before. I guess it's been about 8 or 10 years, and he keeps bringing me back into different films that he works on. And it was in Contracted Phase 2 that I met Matt Mercer, and I played his grandmother in that, and that was my introduction, I would say, to gore. And so Matt called me up, oh gosh, a couple of weeks, I can't remember, it was a couple of weeks before we started shooting, and told me the story that he and the Boulder Light Pictures guys and Mike had been challenged by Cinepocalypse to do a film from script to screen in 30 days. And he said, would you be interested? And I said, sure. So I kept waiting for the script and waiting. And finally, the night before,
oh gosh,
first day of shooting, we each got our script via email, and there wasn't any time to do any research on dementia, to do any research on anything. We just had to, it was like, okay, all right, here, okay, there's the script. What do I need to take to the set tomorrow? And let's go.
It sounds like it's such a interesting kind of project, because you hear, I think was it the James Wood contest where you have to make a film in like 48 hours. Like there are these time pressure contests, but usually you don't get something that is of the quality that Dementia Part II is. You can tell it's like a fun quick project, but they did a really great job kind of giving it its own personality and having some really good effects in it. Your introduction to gore was probably useful because this film has a lot of gore. So
yeah.
So you said you weren't really able to prep, but you'd worked with at least Matt before. You'd worked with any of the other cast before? You just kind of all get thrown into some crazy fire.
Yes, it was my first time meeting Najarra and Graham. And I mean, they're professional actors. So it was kind of and plus the last minute nature of this thing, everybody just jumped in and you committed 100%. I mean, there wasn't any time to overthink anything. We had to get it done, and we had a good time getting it done. And Matt and Mike made the scenario, the atmosphere, the environment great for us, because it was like anything goes. You know, if you had an impulse, you felt, you know, a line to improvise, everything was welcome. And that sort of atmosphere, I was speaking for myself as an actor, you know, once you open that door, it's like, welcome, you know, all your little neuroses and evil thoughts and everything is welcome to come out. And I think that's what made it richer.
It must have also been kind of fun to have it. You know, a lot of times you hear, you know, these indie films, people will pour their heart and soul and they're not sure if someone's ever going to see it. Here, you knew you were going to get seen. You had a slot that was going to be screened. So that must have been fun as well. But I wonder, was that kind of liberating to just know that you could do whatever you want, and you know, it would be up on the screen at some point anyways.
Yeah, but we never expected it to go this far. I mean, it's like I keep saying to myself, this is the little film that could. And the fact that it went anywhere after that initial screening at Cinepocalypse was a surprise to all of us. And we got to go to Citrus, we got to go to Fright Fest and Film Quest, and there was a festival in Germany, I don't recall the name of it. It toured around Germany and played there. And it's probably been places that I don't know, but it's taken on a life of its own. So I'm grateful for that. And yes, it was fun.
Yeah, that's another thing I kind of got from it. It seemed like it was a lot of fun to make. Your character especially had just so many, you know, characters or just different personalities in this film. You know, that must have been liberating is the right word, but just kind of freeing to be able to kind of, like you said, just do all of your own impulses and kind of do whatever you thought was natural for each scene.
Yes, it was. And some of the things you said you have seen. Dementia?
I did not see Dementia Part I. I saw Dementia Part II a couple times. Yeah, I went back to try to see it.
Okay. I didn't want to give anything away, but there's a scene towards the end. I guess it's the one they have on the poster where I am, let's say, having dinner. And, you know, all of a sudden I become aware that I have an audience, and I snap back into the mild-mannered, shy, reserved Suzanne, and apologize to Matt's parole officers, Warren's parole officer, and, you know, tuck his insides back in. And then I have to go upstairs and wash my hands. And I pass them on the staircase. They're plastered to the wall, and I've got blood dripping from all of me. And I just say very nicely, politely, excuse me. And that just happened. And it was another fun thing that happened was after, you know, we would be shooting some stuff and the camera would be kind of jumping up and down like this. And I'd hear these submerged laughter from Mike and Matt, you know, being off screen. And it was like, finally, after the third or fourth time, I said, okay, guys, you know, what's going on? Because Suzanne was doing her thing, and it was real. It wasn't funny, but I still watch the film, and I get a kick out of it. I'm sitting there giggling, and anyway, it was wonderful to make. It was so much fun to make, and I think it's fun to watch too.
No, it definitely is fun to watch. And I think that the campy style was perfect given, kind of it was somewhat serious, but it had a lot of humor, and also the gore. The camp style kind of makes the gore more bearable if you're not kind of in that mood. So I imagine that's what they were laughing at. So I
Yeah.
haven't seen the first film, but since you were in both, were there similarities? Was the house the same? Because the house looked like it could have been the same, or at least the same style. Were there any clues from Dementia 1 and Dementia Part 2?
Dementia One is a psychological thriller that turns dark. You think that there is a war veteran,
Mhm.
and he finally needs some help to stay at home. And I don't know if the house is the same. It does look similar, but I don't know if it's the same one. And anyway, they find a caretaker for the daughter and her granddaughter. Her daughter find a caretaker for her dad, and she comes and lives in the house and cares for him, make sure he takes his medication, etc. And slowly things turn darker and darker, and she the tone of it is so different from Dementia Part 2. Since Mike directed both of them, he and things were happening fast. They decided on Dementia Part 2 for the name of it, because it's something that popped in their head. That was the only connection between the two films.
Well, that's a good reason too. I mean, Dementia Part 2 does have a nice kind of ring to it. Then if they were just going to make their own film, I don't know what it'd be called, like the Handyman. Handyman might be a weird name for a film, but well, awesome. So I know we have a limited time, so I'm going to move. I call it the lightning round. It's just very lightweight questions about the film and things that happened. Luckily in this film, there's a lot of strange stuff, so I get to ask a lot of strange questions, but I just want to kind of see how your personal experiences map to things that happened in the film. You can feel free not to answer any of them, although I try to keep them light and answerable.
Okay, go.
Do you have a typewriter?
No.
Oh. I assume you've used a typewriter. I've used a typewriter, so I assume you used a typewriter at some point.
Yes, it was part of my growing up. There were classes, and mostly girls took the classes learning how to type. Yes, so I used a typewriter for years. Don't have one now.
Excellent. Well, that's good. I can't imagine they're super useful anymore, but do you do your own plumbing?
No.
Okay. I guess have you had to unclog a toilet during this pandemic?
Yes.
What?
Yeah. Yes, and and when you walk in and hear that the toilet is running,
Mm-hmm.
I know what to connect so that it stops doing that. So I guess, yes, I've done a minimum amount of plumbing.
That's perfect. That's plenty. Did you prep for Y2K?
No.
Okay. Do you have any taxidermied animals?
No.
I don't know what you're, I don't know
you?
what your house. No, I don't. The closest I have is we had a pet, and after the pet died, they sent us a paw print. But yeah,
Yes.
nothing taxidermied.
Yes. Matt kept the squirrel from Dementia Part 2. So no, that's a very treasured part of the film.
That is a great. Do you know where he got the squirrel? I mean, I'll ask them when I interview them. But do you know where he got the squirrel?
I'll let him answer that.
Okay, excellent. What is the grossest thing you've found in pipes? You don't have to answer if you don't want to.
I don't. I haven't looked in pipes. I'm sorry.
That's probably safe. I had to declog a shower one time, and essentially it was like a Ring movie amount of hair came out of that drain. So yeah, I would suggest not looking in pipes. Have you ever eaten chitlins or tripe?
I think I've eaten chitlins, not tripe.
It's
I
I think
lived
that.
in the South for
Ah,
10 plus years, and grits. I mean, grits I've had. It was, part of everybody served grits and pickled beets.
yum. No, that sounds good. I mean, I love grits. Chitlins are a little more intense than grits, I believe. But
Mhm.
have you ever given or received mouth to mouth?
Yes.
Okay. When was the last time you've worn a wig?
Last week.
Oh, awesome. Party or a picture, or you don't have to answer that if you don't.
What?
Was it for like a party or a picture?
No, it was for a self-tape audition.
Awesome. Have you ever been electrocuted?
No, thank
And
you.
thank you. That's good news. And the last question is, have you ever fired an assault rifle?
An assault rifle, no.
And so the film comes out on May 21st, 2021 in theaters, and then it's being released physically, digitally, and on demand on June 1st. I imagine you're promoting the film. What else? What's next for you? Is there any other projects that you're working on that you can talk about? Anything like that?
The one that I can talk about is that I am working on putting together, and I don't know what format it's going to take. I'm working on putting together what happens next with Suzanne.
Oh, very cool.
Because well, I don't want to say this. Come see the film. I hope you like it as much as I do. Anyway, David, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That sounds fascinating. And thank you so much for your time and for kind of sticking with this film. It's an amazing kind of journey, and I can't wait for other people to see it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take good care. Bye-bye.
That was Suzanne Voss, who stars in Dementia Part II, which releases in theaters on May 21st, 2021, and physically, digitally, and on demand on June 1st, 2021. It's an interesting film, and it's got a lot of old school classic camp, so you should definitely check it out. You can check it out in theaters, you can check it out at home, whichever you're comfortable with. If you like this interview, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot to make sure all my new interviews go straight to you. And as always, please go to watchyourpast.com for all your movie reviews, interviews, and recommendations. Thank you.